Hi, this is Kevin Barnes with BB&R Design Build right here in Worcester, and here to talk about a project that we completed last year in Uxbridge, right down the road from us. And this client, fun project. It was a couple. They worked together, husband and wife, in their own business. So they really, once we met with them and talked with them and got to know how we operate, we really connected with them on that level, and they really appreciated working with another husband and wife team because they knew how they complemented each other in their world, and they appreciated how we complemented each other in our world. Jane on the design side, helping things look pretty, knows how the aesthetics work, and myself, who doesn't know how to match colors and would wear plaid with polka dots, but I understand the construction side of things. So it was real fun to work with them on this project. You know, they were very frustrated. Again, beautiful neighborhood, wasn't a really old house, but the layout just didn't really work great for them. You know, they had an island, they had a kitchen that was, you know, on first glance laid out okay, but there was a lot of frustrations they shared with us about their layout. So within the confines of the kitchen and entryway coming in from the garage, which I'll show in a minute, we're able to really make a lot of improvements. And this is the photos of this one are beautiful, beautiful kitchen. And so this project, this is the existing floor plan. For some reason, this document, the red lines, disregard that. That's supposed to indicate some demolition. Just ignore that for now. But you come in from the garage off of this side. They have a hallway, a closet that really didn't function very well for them. They hung some coats, but they also put vacuum cleaner in there and just kind of, you know, quasi pantry, but it took up a lot of space without really being very functional. Half bath, which was fine. You know, just they have a lot of room in this island off to the side that you don't see through this opening was like a family room with a fireplace and a TV. And then down below the screen is their entry foyer and dining room. But, you know, as you can see, there was a lot of space. It really wasn't big enough to have like a eat-in dining area. So they just felt like they could expand the kitchen and have a bigger space, and they're just tight on storage. Everything just feels a little bit cramped. So we really put our minds together to come up with a layout and a plan that worked within this space, and we tried to think about every little improvement we could think of. This is the floor plan we ended up with. So ripped out that closet when you first come in off the garage and made way. We replaced it with, again, 2 tall pantry cabinets on either side, with basically a typical mudroom type of setup where it has a bench and some hooks and a tall cabinet above, so you can come in and drop your purse, drop your coat. And then the kitchen, very similar layout. You know, we're always a fan of the sink by the window. That stayed the same location. They ended up going with a nice Sub-Zero fridge freezer combination in the same location because that made sense. And one of the biggest improvements was expanding the island. Big enough that you could still sit there and have a meal, but for formal entertaining, they still have their dining room. So by not having to have room for an eat-in dining table really allowed for a much bigger island. And then we were also able to utilize the space on this back wall by taking the slider that they had before. We actually took that out and replaced it and shifted it over so we could make this run of cabinets as large as possible. And by doing that, we're also able to create we have a cooktop, I believe it was induction, with a nice big gorgeous hood above it. And then opposite there, before they had a couple of shallow tall cabinets, but we made them a little bit deeper, another 2 tall cabinets with pantry type storage and rollouts, and a second sink. So it became like a coffee station prep area. And they also had a couple cool features in this one. You know, they had, at the time they had 2 golden retrievers, needed a place for their dog food and the water. So we ended up creating a nook on the end of the island so the dog bowl for water and for food is basically tucked in the end of the island, and we created a little stone place for it so the water wouldn't affect the wood, and keeps it out of the floor so people don't kick it, splash it on the floors. And we ended up, you know, right next to it, real close by. We actually created a toe kick pull out in the base of that cabinet where they were able to store food bowls, and all the dog food and everything is stored in that cabinet too. So again, they were really, you know, great clients to work with, and we absolutely made the best use of every inch in this space as we possibly could. And all the little things that they brought to us that they needed to accomplish, I feel like we were really able to accomplish that for them. So we know we need to really try to help a client maximize every inch. We really look for every single detail, every little thing. For instance, even the slider, does that slider really need to be there? Sometimes a client might not be thinking, I don't need to replace that slider. Why am I going to move it? So we have to kind of show them the benefits. Fortunately for us in this circumstance, the existing slider didn't work very well. So they're very open to the idea that we need to replace the slider anyway if we were going to do it. But the benefit, by gaining an extra foot or two by shifting that slider over, huge benefit. Little things, there was a lot of open floor space over here. So can we add a separate sink? And what was the benefit of that? And can we make these cabinets a little bit bigger? So we really get down to maximizing every single inch you can and around the space, but still making it have a good flow so you're not feeling cramped. So we're just really looking for ways to make the most use out of whatever space that they have. One example of that is a lot of times closets go because they just take a lot of space. Number one, you're losing inches just for framing it. And then once you have a door, it's really tough to access all the way inside of a closet. So you rip the closet out, replace it with cabinets. The footprint is smaller, but the effective use of it is just much better. So that's an example that we really look for all the time. And then we're looking for the flow of the space and how we're going to be able to get all the appliances they need. People talk about the triangle, which is important, but not, the end all be all that it used to be. You really try to envision yourself working in the space and how can you get access to all the components you need, the fridge, the cooktop, the dishwasher, the sink. And one of the things the double wall oven is a little bit out of the way, but still close enough to the island because that's one of the things you don't really need to have right in your immediate workspace because you're typically preparing things, you're putting it in the oven's doing its thing and you need a place to pull it out. So that doesn't necessarily need to be within that space, and it opens up room for all the other components that you need. So really it's just putting our heads together. We're a team here in this office, so it's not just one designer sitting down. I'm putting my eyes on things from a construction perspective and, what can we do? What's a bearing wall? What's the implication of adding a sink in a location where there wasn't one? Jane, she does 98% of the cooking in our house, so she's really in tune with how you're gonna work and prepare dinners and entertain. So that's very much in her mind. And Nancy, who does our architectural work, and she brings another brain into it she's been drawing house plans for a very long time. So she kind of has a foot in both ends, the construction and the design side. So together we make a really good team and putting our heads together to come up with a plan that works. It's been great sharing this project with you guys. If you feel like you have a project that might be a good fit for us, where our services and our strengths can help serve you and help you get the project that you need off the ground, please give us a call and reach out. Let's have an initial talk.